talking to my guy at the Jazz, which I do pretty much after every game, we kind of have gotten into a circadian rhythm, which
The
is,
rhythm method.
just a, you know, don't take your jeans off, folks. So we've kind of gotten into like a little rhythm of talking after games. And um, my dude at the Jazz was telling me yesterday that there is Rudy Gobert fatigue and that there is a frustration with Rudy that his post-game comments continue to go directly at his teammates. And one of the conversations we need to have about the Jazz is the worst word in sports, effort. Because one of the things that Rudy Gobert has continued to rail his teammates for is a lack of effort defensively. Jake, do you think the Jazz do not try hard on defense?
I mean, I think some nights it's night to night. I mean, I think that against the Clippers, they were clearly trying hard on defense. Now they weren't playing great defense, but I think the effort was there. And I think that's two separate things. Playing good defense and trying to play good defense is two different things. And I think that most nights against good teams, the Jazz bring their level best on defense. I think that the Jazz do have a bad habit of playing down to their competition, like, when they play Houston or, when they play whoever it might be. The bad teams in the league, they don't put in the best effort that they possibly could. But I think the problem here is that you have a guy in Rudy Gobert who's a Defensive Player of the Year award, 3 times now or whatever it is, and he's trying to call it his teammates for a lack of effort, but he's the front line of the defense, and his effort has to be consistent. And I think there are a lot of times where he's more concerned about bitching at officials than, making a difference in the game. And I think that's the problem. I think that, Rudy also has, as we talked about yesterday, has, complained that the team isn't tough enough. Yet he's one of the softest players in the NBA. And that's not just us saying that. There are a lot of people who say that. So I just think that the core issue for Rudy and these comments and everything, one, is that they're negative comments. They're not you're not building your teammate up. You're not giving him credit for what he's doing already. You're just tearing him down. Number one. But then number two, they're hypocritical comments. It's one thing to criticize your teammates. It's like Kobe, for example. Kobe can push his teammates. Michael can push his teammates. LeBron can push his teammates because they're the best damn player in the league. And there's accountability there. You can say, hey, you have to do more because, well, you're doing, like, Devin Booker's doing more. Rudy's not that guy. Rudy is not in a position to say, hey, I need you guys to be tougher, even though I'm not tough. You can't do that in sports, in athletics. So I just think that is the core issue of the Rudy Gobert, quote unquote fatigue, if you will. So
Do you buy that there's Gobert fatigue? I mean, is that
yeah, I think it's real.
when you say it's real, and I guess this is my question. Like when I think of Rudy Gobert fatigue,
Yeah.
what I think of is this guy's a pain in the ass, and I'm tired of listening to him.
And he's not
Like,
good.
is
That's
that
the problem.
But wait, he is good.
No, but he's not good enough then to be doing what he's doing off the court. Is that I get it. Good and good enough are two different things. He's not a bad player, but he's not good enough. You're not good enough to call out your teammates. You're not that guy. All jokes aside, like the old saying, right? You're not that guy, pal. Well, you're not that guy, pal. Like that's not who Rudy Gobert is. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're not the guy that's getting the ball for game-winning shots. You're not the guy that decides whether your team wins or loses on a nightly basis. Too often, you're the guy who is developing a poor relationship, for your team with the officials. Too often, you're the guy that wants to dance with Miles Turner, right? Too often, you're the guy that gets too emotional on the floor, and the other team knows that, and it causes problems for your team. So I'm sorry if that's unpopular, but that's the case, And if you're going to talk a bunch of junk after the game to your teammates and be negative and be that guy, you better be backing it up on the floor.
You're not that guy, pal.
You better be 30 points, 20 boards guy, and you're not. Joel Embiid is that guy. Nikola Jokic is that guy. You're not.
But here's the problem. He's not wrong. Rudy Gobert is not wrong that the Jazz are soft. Rudy Gobert is not wrong that they're not good defensively. Here's what he is wrong about: saying those things out loud after your 5th straight loss And again, history repeated itself against the Clippers. The best thing to say at that point is nothing at all. You have a guy in Rudy Gobert who just talks too much. And as it was described to me, Rudy Gobert is continuing to isolate himself from his teammates by making these comments. And this would be akin to somebody like a DeAndre Ayton calling out the Phoenix Suns. This would be akin to a Kevon Looney calling out the Suns. The difference with Rudy is he's not Devin Booker. He's not a guy like a Draymond Green who calls out his teammates, but they respect him. He's a proven winner, and Rudy Gobert is not. And I think the issue is, and when we talk about isolationism and we talk about, is he wrong or right? You're always wrong when you do that, especially in the heat of the moment after another loss. The soft thing is interesting. I agree with you on this a hundo P, bruh, is that they are soft, and Rudy Gobert is one of the biggest reasons the Utah Jazz are soft.
But what he's doing in the postgame is exactly why they're soft. And this is what he doesn't understand. He thinks that going into the postgame press conference and saying a bunch of shit about his teammates is gonna be leadership. That is how you lead people. I got news for you. That's not how you lead people. Right? The way you lead people is, hey, it's my teammates won this for us. It's all them. But when things are going sideways and they're going south, it's me. Right? That's leadership. You're not. Rudy Gobert doesn't understand how to be a leader. He doesn't understand what it takes to, first of all, what's required to even call yourself a leader. But then when you have that, what's required to actually lead your team? Again, I use this example all the time on the show. Whether we're talking about the Jazz and the NBA, whether we're talking about office life, your household culture, whatever, anything in life where humans are involved, leadership happens in every single moment, every single conversation, right? The person who's leading is doing the performance and doing what you're not doing.
Yes.
And the problem with Rudy Gobert is he can't say that. He can't say that he is the true reason why the Jazz win or lose games. Is he the true reason why they have a good defense and they're really good defensively in the paint? Yes, he can say that. But when you really boil it down, even for the Rudy Gobert supporters, I'm pointing this at you, when you really boil this down, I think we can all agree that Rudy Gobert is not the reason they win or lose games. And the reason I'm leaning on this is to get to the point that because you're not the reason your team win or loses games, you can't go into the post game and rip your teammates, and then go into the locker room and isolate yourself and do the. It's like a whole motif almost. It's like you're acting and causing drama and all this nonsense. So that's why I say, as much as I've leaned on Donovan Mitchell to step his leadership game up, it's now becoming very clear that there are two locker rooms in one with this Utah Jazz team.
Absolutely right.
And that's the problem. And
Absolutely
that
right.
is for all the roster shortcomings. That's why they're losing games. They're not playing together. And that's the difference between this team even last year's team. Even though they lost in the second round, last year's team was way freaking better than this team is.
Well, and I think the reason they're losing is not talent. The reason they're losing is division, a lack of chemistry. And I think that we've talked about this for going on 4 months now, that there is serious division in this locker room. And a lot of it has to do with Rudy Gobert. And I actually think it is probably 90-10 in that locker room that are split. I mean, I just don't think Rudy is close to his teammates. I don't know that people in that locker room hate Rudy Gobert. I think they don't respect him. And that's much, much worse. Like, if I hate you, but I respect you, if I'm Tony Kukoc and I hate Michael Jordan, but I respect him, I'm good with that.
Shaq and Kobe.
I'm good with that, right? But ultimately, it always leads to a breakup. And I think that's what you're going to see with this team. And I think half the fan base is going to be Team Rudy, and the other half is going to be Team Don. And I think we're always going to look back on this the same way that Laker fans look at Kobe and Shaq, that you wrecked something very good. And I'm not saying that Don and Rudy are Kobe and Shaq, because they're certainly not. They're missing one obvious thing, and that would be championships. But what I am saying is this is arguably as talented as a group that the Jazz have had in the modern era, post Stockton and Malone. You're looking at guys in Rudy and Don that are two of the most talented players in the history of this organization, but they don't like each other. They're not friends. They don't get along. They don't have chemistry. And when you're best of the best, it's funny, we were talking about this before the show,
Yeah.
whether it's in sales or whether it's in the NBA, when the best of the best step up and say, hey, this is great, let's do this, 9 out of 10 of those people behind them are going to follow. When the best of the best say, hey, this sucks and this is terrible and you guys are pathetic, you're killing morale. You're killing any kind of hope that this team can succeed, because you are almost projecting failure onto the organization before you even ever dribble a basketball. When you're negative like that and you say that, the issue that I have with Rudy and this defensive stuff is that he's questioning people's effort. And I see effort. I don't see capability. And that's a huge difference. Royce O'Neal tries hard. I am not a buckets o bench guy. I'm not. Royce O'Neal tries hard. He plays hard. He's not capable. Mentally, he's not capable. Physically, he's probably capable, but he gets in his own way. I look at a guy in Bojan Bogdanovic. He plays hard. He's not capable of playing defense in the NBA because he doesn't have lateral movement. That's not an effort problem, Dick. That is, hey, they're not capable, right? And the other thing that was so directly pointed out to me yesterday, and I actually think this conversation, the interesting part about this is that people listen to this show and react to it on a regular basis. Like the things we don't tell you guys about who reaches out to us and who we talk to. And I think it would shock you, the number of people that listen to this show. What's interesting is we said on the show yesterday that Rudy Gobert's pick and roll defense has been a point of contention in the locker room. Like there was frustration back in January, February, and then leading right up into the calf injury where he missed those games. He just is not a guy that works intelligently out of the paint defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rudy Gobert wants to be a really elite defensive player out of the paint. He just is not. I just think mentally he's not there. So against the Clippers, Luke Kennard goes 4 of 7 from 3. And I said yesterday, I know this is a bone of contention with his teammates, specifically Donovan Mitchell. When Donovan Mitchell is involved in the pick and roll defensively, almost universally, Rudy Gobert will not step up and try and shut down that three-pointer. He won't. And notice when Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley are defending the pick and roll, Rudy pushes up and works much harder. Watch that in the Laker game tonight, because teams pick and roll the Jazz to death. And I might be making too much out of it. That play where Rudy Gobert, the 3 times Rudy doesn't step up on the pick and roll, Luke Kennard was 2 of 3 on those.
Yep.
And after the game, he did not want to take accountability for that. And I think that grinds on his teammates, especially when he's saying that they don't work hard defensively. Well, what are you doing on the pick and roll, Rudy? You're not working hard, it does not appear. Is anybody calling you out in the media for that? Is anybody talking about your lackluster performance defensively against the pick and roll in the three-point line? No, they're not. Why is that? Because that's not what good teammates do. That's not what good leaders do. Donovan Mitchell talks about himself. Quinn Snyder talks about himself. That's what leadership is. The problem with this team is not Donovan Mitchell. I'm telling you, the problem with this team is they're just not a close-knit group, so they don't like playing together anymore. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
I think these guys don't enjoy playing together anymore, and now it's become a plague. You don't blow 25-point leads repeatedly. You don't blow double-digit leads repeatedly if you like the guy standing next to you and you're playing hard for him, and that you're playing for something other than yourself. Because that's what you're seeing out of Rudy Gobert with it. And I know that James Knight is probably going to lose his penis over this, but like
his peen.
His peen, excuse me. My bad. He's probably going to shave his pube fro over this.
Right.
Rudy Gobert does not play hard for his teammates. He is a selfish player. There's no question about that. When he blocks a shot, you will see him like flex down and let down. The other night, he blocked a shot against the Clippers, and immediately it turned into a layup because he let down. Rudy Gobert is a selfish player. Donovan Mitchell, in a lot of situations, is a selfish player. The difference is he scores 30 points every night. The difference is when he's selfish, he gets to the rack,
Yep.
right? When guys like Jordan Clarkson are selfish, it's a problem because the ball doesn't go in the hole. Jordan Clarkson's an afterthought. Donovan Mitchell is the guy.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference. All right, let's get your comments in here because I'm sure there's a lot of them. And let's see if actually my fruition came true that, he shaved his pube pro. He hasn't commented yet. James says, you guys are relentless on Rudy.
Yep.
It's not, but see, we're not relentless on Rudy. We're relentless on the facts, the issues with this team. All I can say is when Donovan Mitchell's a problem, what do we talk about? Donovan Mitchell. When Bagsnatchevich is a problem, we talk about Bojan Bogdanovic.
When Mike Conley can't make a floater to save his life,
we talk about Mike Conley. The problem is that more often than not, Rudy Gobert, and it's not that his play on the floor is that much of a problem. Rudy Gobert is grinding on people in the locker room.
It becomes a problem when you talk a bunch of shit in the post-game presser about your teammates.
Yes.
That's the issue. I get it. Hey, I turn on the show and every day you guys are leaning on Rudy.
Last night, Draymond Green. They're playing the Phoenix Suns, the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Otto Porter is in the wrong spot on a pick and roll. It leads to Otto Porter is supposed to slide up the floor, set a pick, slide off. It's a rub screen. He's supposed to slide up off the rub and shoot a three-pointer. He set the screen and then stood there. He didn't slide up. Draymond threw the pass where Otto was supposed to be and the ball went out of bounds. Draymond jumped up and down, but then during the timeout, ESPN came back and there was a shot of Draymond Green and Otto Porter standing next to each other with Draymond Green's hand on Otto's shoulder, talking to him about that. And very clearly, Draymond Green is telling him, hey, man, we need you to slide up. That's what the play calls for. I'm imagining he's saying, I throw that past you because we're looking for you to hit a knockdown three there. Like they're talking through it. When Rudy Gobert does something like that, how many times have we seen this year where he'll yell and scream at it's usually Royce O'Neal.
Yeah.
He'll yell and scream at Royce O'Neal, and then in the locker room, from what I'm told, he does that all over again. And he'll point out Donovan. Like Rudy Gobert is going after Donovan. He's going after Royce O'Neal. And everybody's like, oh, well, that's what leadership is, calling guys out. The problem is you're not wrong. Accountability is absolutely important. But when you won't take that accountability in return for things like the pick and roll, this obsessive idea, apparently one of the other issues with Rudy Gobert is that he believes he should get the ball in the post. He believes that they should run sets for him to get the ball in the post. And his teammates don't want to throw him the ball in the post. It's a very low percentage opportunity. Frankly, if you throw Rudy Gobert the ball in the post with his back to the basket, it's probably a turnover or a kick out.
Yeah.
But Rudy doesn't believe that. Rudy thinks he can wheel and deal into the paint and dribble and score, and that's got to be a 20% look.
Yeah.
So guys don't want to throw him the ball there. And he grinds on that. I need the ball. I want the ball. And his teammates won't throw him the ball in anything other than a lob if you really watch the way they play.
Yeah.
So my point is, James, it's not that we're constantly obsessing over Rudy. Rudy's the issue is one of the major issues on this team. Rudy Gobert is a major, major issue. Money changes people, man, I'm telling you. Here's Brandon Whiteside. He says, here's the problem. We are about in the playoffs. I don't care anymore about the feelings. Either time to win or their legacy as a team is not focused on winning. That's true. Spencer Morgan says, gaping. Wow. What do you mean?
Me?
What? Spence, come on. James Knight said if Rudy used the word we in his post-match interviews, it would serve him better. Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal
point. But again, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about it, for lack of a better word, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
That's right.
You're totally right. If he would just say, yeah, we have to do better. Or it's like what Frank Vogel said when the Lakers lost, what was it? They blew, it was like earlier in the week. I can't remember exactly.
Jake. That's all they do is blow and lose.
They lose, and Frank Vogel in the postgame is like, yeah, we got outperformed. The coaches, the players, everybody.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do, but Rudy doesn't do that.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Spencer Morgan says, would like to point out that Danny Ainge has traded a coach before. This is a good point. This is a good point. How much of this falls on Quinn to galvanize the group? I think here's the truth about Quinn Snyder. Quinn's at fault, heavily at fault here. And I'll just keep saying this until they make a major deal. Ryan Smith is at fault. Quinn Snyder's at fault. Justin Zanuck's at fault. This really isn't on the players. 99% of this is a result of poor roster construction and bad decisions over the last 12
You're
months.
putting guys in positions to do things that they're not able to do.
That's right. You're asking them to do things. You're asking Bojan Bogdanovic. You're allowing Craig Bolerjack and Holly Rowe to continually say on the broadcast that Royce is a lockdown defender when he is not. You are continuing to have Holly Rowe wax poetic about how elite Rudy Gobert is as an offensive player because he leads the league in screen assists. I'm telling you, you can put a monkey out there and run pick and roll with Donovan Mitchell, and he's going to knock that three down. It's an important stat. I'm not saying it's insignificant. I'm not saying that Rudy Gobert isn't great at setting screens. It's not unique to him. It is not unique to him. What I'm telling you is this offense is set up to shoot pick and roll threes. That's what this team does, much to its benefit, but holy crap, much to its demise.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of the issues that we're seeing manifest themselves now are because Quinn Snyder's has burnt his flame with this group of guys. Now, the truth is, this group of guys shouldn't still be together.
Yeah, I mean,
they should have blown this thing up after the bubble, if
they're
we're
set up
really
to
being
fail.
honest.
They're set up to, I mean, again, not intentionally, but
Yeah.
with the roster construction and where the money is at, it's not set up to succeed. And that's what I think needs to be said. I mean, again, there's so many storylines within a season and how players, handle things
Yes.
or whatever. But I think that the overreaching point is just that this roster is not a championship roster. And that's what we've been saying for 2 years. I even think we've been saying that since the bubble, honestly. But,
Yep. Look at Barry sending us a direct message now.
this will be fun.
Let's see. Now,
Here
I
we
need
go.
to read this because Barry's another. Can we just make a law real quick? By the way,
Yeah.
Can somebody get where is our guy? The Twitter orange
Tangerine Twitter machine.
Can somebody call Donnie and have him make a law that vanishing mode is bullshit and we need to get rid of it? Please?
Donnie, please.
All right. Barry says, Monty, I've been listening the last 2 years to this show on the Jazz, and you guys are right 99.9% of the time. I'll give you credit for that because I used to think you guys were clowns. By the way, you look great. How's the diet going? Oh, thank you. Wow, Barry with a nice message.
Holy shit.
Wow.
It's the fucking vernal equinox.
Yeah, what happened?
What the hell is
Are you
that,
kidding?
dude?
The diet's going great. I went over my calories. I had 2,800 calories yesterday because I made a salad and had ranch dressing, and I shouldn't have had ranch on it, but ranch has like a gazillion calories. And much to your problem there, Jerko,
Right.
I had a teaspoon of I discovered one of the greatest snacks ever last night. Put a banana, slice it up in a bowl, pour yogurt on top of it, and put a teaspoon of Jif all natural peanut butter on it. Jeez Louise, that is good.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
dude.
Oh my God, that is good. So I almost had I think I had 3,100 calories yesterday or something like that. Diet's going good. I've lost 30 pounds. I'm happy with it. Let's keep going. Leonard Donin Endelov says, love the show, guys. Don needs a great second star. Hopefully he gets one. I would agree. Spencer says the Rudy fatigue is real. You can see it in the player's body language. Is this team
I
not
agree.
got the worst body language, by the way?
It does. And I think Hassan hasn't helped that. I think that I think that
No,
there's
not
a
at
lot of
all.
different situations that haven't helped that, And that's why I say, again, I think James said it, James was getting at the point that, if Rudy would just say things like it would help a lot. I think that Rudy
Yeah.
could do a lot of things that would help a lot. I think that's the tragic part about Rudy Gobert and the way he's going about things. I think that if on the floor he just acted more friendly with
Yes.
his teammates. I'm not
Yeah.
screw the team they're playing. Yeah, go kill them. But with your teammates, be kinder, be more positive.
Yes.
And you will see a better result from that. But leaning on them constantly and yelling and the bitching at the officials, and it's just this kind of storm almost, this sort of cloud over the team when he acts that way, and that's rough. That's hard to deal with.
Yeah, and I think they just you know what would help, honest to God, if they would just throw the ball to Rudy and he would have success. That would have changed so many narratives about this team. But it just has not happened. I mean, the other night in LA with Donovan's ankle early in that game, he clearly was having trouble in the pick and roll. Him and Rudy like ran into each other one time, and like it's just they're awkward together. And you don't see Rudy, chest bumping or fist bumping Donovan Mitchell almost ever. I mean, I think, Spencer, I think you're exactly right. Spencer also says, I've seen at least half a dozen turnovers in the past few games that were attributed to Don, but really it was just him trying to get the ball to Rudy and Rudy couldn't handle it. Yeah, Rudy his skill of catching the basketball off of the pick and roll has really slipped. Like, I feel like he's had a lot of balls that he's bobbled or just gone through his hands, or he's not, as a 7-footer, it's very difficult to catch a ball that's on the ground. So throwing him a bounce pass the other night, I think Jordan Clarkson tried to throw him a bounce pass. It was a disaster. It's got to be up in the air. But he's turned into a bobbler of the basketball lately. It's kind of odd because I've never thought about that. Like, DeAndre Ayton just can't catch a basketball, the Suns center. DeAndre Ayton just does not catch the ball well. Rudy's got massive hands, and he usually catches the ball pretty well, but here lately, he is not. And it's actually, I think, part of the reason he's been negative for, I think, 8 out of his last 9 games, he's been negative.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is his inability to catch and finish at the rim.
Yeah.
And he gets stripped a lot because he's got a terrible habit of bringing the ball down to his chest, which is never – we saw that in Boston.
I think another thing that we should talk about before we leave this conversation is there are a lot of little things on this team, like not bringing the ball down, that could be corrected. I think that's worth noting.
Fundamentals,
fundamentals that could be corrected. But that's why I think when people ask, hey, is it the coaches or is it the players? You can't tell me that the coaching staff doesn't work with their bigs on keeping the ball above their shoulders. That is a core fundamental of bigs in basketball. You can't tell me that they don't work on pick and roll angles and how to execute these. I know they do.
Floor spacing is a tenet of Quinn Snyder's offense.
Yeah.
But this is why your guy Pascal is such a problem.
That was boneheaded the other night, no doubt.
But it's routine for him that he's in the wrong spot. And Trent Forrest as well. And man, that shot Trent took the other night from Rudy. Jeez Louise. But Trent Forrest is often in the wrong spot as well. Like you'll notice if you watch the game tonight, Trent's probably not going to play. But I mean, I think you see a lot of times where they're having to wave him through the paint.
I do think, though, that's true, but I think that they could turn Trent into a good contributor. Like, over the course of this offseason, it will be on him. I would love to see him go and work with Brickley. I don't know if he's got that kind of bread, but like I would love to see him go and work with Brickley. And work on that mid-range, work on his shot overall.
If Elijah Hughes is paid enough to work with Chris Brickley,
you never know, dude.
I'm going to guess.
You never know. You never know. Again, who the hell knows? On a surface level, yes, he should have the money, but who the hell knows what he does in his free time? I don't know.
I think it's incumbent on all these guys to develop in the offseason. You don't practice as much as you used to because you don't have 4 or 5 days off at a time anymore.
Nope.
When I covered the NBA full time very early in my career with the Bulls, they had 3-4 days off at a time. So you were taking a day off and then you were practicing 2 days. And you were getting in big man development. Like the Lakers, when Shaq was with the Lakers, he would go off to the All-Star break and they'd do a big man camp. They'd bring in like guys that you would practice, you would work on this stuff when you had extended amount of times. Now guys just don't do that. Guys, they don't. The atmosphere in the NBA has become so player-centric that you don't have the ability as a coach or a general manager to say, hey, okay, during the All-Star break, you guys, we're really going to drill and we're going to work on floor spacing and assignments. And, that's when you put in things like zone defenses. When Don and Rudy are off at the All-Star game, have your bottom 8 guys on the roster working on things, working on zones, working on pick and roll spacing.
But see, those two guys don't like each other, and that's why that's not going to happen.
I agree. I just think that we've gotten away from that. So you see Donovan Mitchell working with David Alexander, the renowned trainer, LeBron's trainer, in Miami. in the offseason. You see Don working with him. You see Don working with Chris Brickley in New York.
Yeah.
You see him with Chris Johnson in LA. Like, Don is putting money into his body and his game, and that's why he's growing. What you see is Rudy Gobert going off to the Olympic tournament last summer and not doing well, not developing. Everybody plays that video of Rudy Gobert shooting all those threes out of the corner at the Olympic tournament in their practice. And I'm just like, is that what we want Rudy Gobert working on? And this is the problem with Rudy in this conversation about jump shooting. He's saying, I can shoot jumpers. Okay, that's cool. I don't want you to shoot jumpers. I want you to be able to dribble a basketball.
Yeah.
Work on footwork.
I want you to have an offensive game in the restricted area.
Work, exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Work on footwork. Like, you look at guys around the league last night, and you're seeing guys that get into the paint and dunk the basketball, like Daniel Tice last night.
Yeah.
Getting into the paint with footwork and dunking a basketball. Like, that's all you. Do you understand what I'm about to say is so moronic in my mind? All we need Rudy Gobert to do offensively is be fucking Daniel Tice. And we would not. Do you know how happy we would all be if that's all he needs to be?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll stop. I'll stop. Wow. Comment dump. Thank you for that. Eric and Raleigh says that sounds like a great smoothie. Snyder, and he said that because Simone Lott says Snyder is like bad milk. He's expired and not good anymore. Wow. He's an elite NBA coach. Trust me. Ruff's official says Little Don is selfish and needs to go. All right. So let's do it in the comments section. First of all, if you're here, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. We're giving away a PS5 when we get to 5,000.
Yeah.
In the comments section right now, Rudy or Don. You can only have one. Who you rolling with? You know what I'm going to say.
Team Don.
Hondo P, I'm Team Don. Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. Oh, Don is a.
Wow.
See, you make me do things that I don't want to do.
Well.
Fucking A.
Yeah. I'm Team Don, a Hondo P, man, because he's an elite generational player on the offensive end. He is a willing, growing defender. He is a guy that has shown the ability to pass and bring up the ability of his teammates. And he's only going to get better at all three of those things. I think Rudy Gobert is at his ceiling. I don't see Rudy Gobert ever being a guy that can be a 25. He should be a 25-point-a-night guy.
25 and 15 every night.
He should, but I'm telling you, the guy should be 25 and 20 every single night on a team that shoots 43s a game.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
But you notice the stat lines you get. You'll get a night where he does 9 points, 11 points.
Jeremy Bolton says Hundo P with Caruso. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you throw in a superstar and it's tough to not, Ruff's official says Rudy. Simone Lott says Don. Giggity says Don all day. Jonathan Price says Don. Trade Rudy this offseason. James Knight says Joe Ingles. Well,
The answer is yes.
duh. Rudy Sanchez says Daddy Don.
Daddy Don. Jesus.
Daddy. I saw another one of those videos on TikTok the other day, and a guy got punched in the face. He walked up behind a guy at Walmart and whispered in his ear, Daddy. And the guy turned around and punched him in the face. It was amazing. Eric and Raleigh says, no, the yogurt and peanut butter mix sounds like a great smoothie. Oh, it was. It was really good. Hundo P with Caruso, but Jeremy also says Don all day. Cooper Royal says Rudy's a liability in every way. He's a rim protector. No doubt about that. Giggity says Judy is too soft to build a team.
Judy. Wow.
Oh, my God, Giggity. How about the Suns, though? How about my Phoenix Suns?
You're a Phoenix Suns.
My guy. Anybody watch Devin Booker last night? He'll play the daddy drop. Oh,
yeah.
Devin Booker last night? Yeah. Like, I was sending Jake pictures of books just to be a dick.
Yeah.
Because he was going off. He played so well last night. Don, but he is way too sensitive, Brandon Whiteside says. Cody Strickland says exam over Don for real, and I rather have Cantor over Rudy. Oh, you mean eczema? Oh, stop it. Cody, don't.
No, we're not humoring that. Next comment.
No.
Next
Josh
comment.
Lovren says Donovan, but I think the Jazz will trade Don because of his value. Cody Strickland says, can we please get back to Hood? You mean Rodney Hood? Ruff's official says Little Donna fanboys. Absolutely, I am a fanboy of Donovan Mitchell.
Donnie, you're out of your element.
I believe in the guy. I believe in Donovan Mitchell. I believe in Harvey Dent. I believe in Donovan.
Yeah. Do you have his campaign fund ready to go? Or?
James, you're a jerk. James Knight says, I'll take Don if he learns when he's out of timeouts.
Donnie, please.
Wow, that's cold. And if he learns when he can move and not move on the inbound.
By the way, just for a point, he's never living that down.
Never, dude. Has Chris Webber lived it down?
No. They will joke about Don making that mistake for a long time. John Jackson says, according to Holly, the Jazz have the best team in the world ever.
Never.
Thank you. Cody Strickland says, I'm a Donovan fan. I think he will be great and win titles, but not for the current Jazz now. No, this current Jazz team's done. And that's why we titled the video today, You're Watching the End of an Era of Jazz Basketball.
Yeah.
You truly are.
Yeah.
I mean, I look around the NBA, and I just don't know how the Jazz are in the 6th spot now. So you're staring down the pipe at.
I'm telling you, I know it seemed ridiculous yesterday when I said it. The play-in tournament is not far away.
They're
It's
not
far away, dude.
Stop it.
Tell me I'm being ridiculous.
You're being ridiculous.
Well, then I'm happy to be, because this team is not far from that. I'm telling you right now. It was 6-8 weeks ago that we were called idiots for saying they were going to be in the 6th spot. This team keeps going. The play-in's right there. It's 2.5 games.
They're 2.5 ahead of Minnie.
2.5 games. So I just want to make this point again, because next week, if they're in the play-in tournament, I'm going to be relentless about it.
I never thought I would say this. The Minnesota Timberwolves miss Malik Beasley.
Yes, they do.
They miss Malik Beasley. But they've lost 2 in a row. But you know what? Listen, I think the T-Wolves are great. Right now, if the season ended today, it'd be the Mavericks and the Jazz.
Yeah.
So
scary.
But if you run into the Golden State Warriors in the playoff, is anybody paying attention to Jordan Poole right now? I mean,
Does anybody even know who Jordan Poole is?
Do you guys see what he's doing? Jordan Poole is messing MFers up.
Yes.
Like, he is unbelievable
Everybody
right now.
thinks that the Warriors are not good because Klay tore his Achilles after tearing the ACL.
Well, that's a guy that, by the way, the ball's going in the hole now.
Yeah, I'm telling you. The days of, hey, I tore my Achilles, my career is over, those days are gone. Kevin Durant showed us that, right? Klay Thompson is showing us that. Kobe showed us that. The days of that are over. It's done.
It's Mamba, please.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole last night, 7 of 15 from 3.
Uh-oh.
9 of 10 from the free throw line. 9 rebounds, 7 dimes, a steal.
He's a playmaker, dude.
Only 2 turnovers, 38 points.
Playmaker. Jordan Poole, 38 points.
Dude.
Against who? The Suns.
The Phoenix Suns. Who, by the way, their leading scorer last night was Devin Booker. 2 of 8 from 3, though. Oof. 22 points on 21 shots.
Not good. Not good. Nice
And
game,
then
though.
there's Mikal Bridges, who 8 of 14 from the floor, 22 points. Like, this is what's wrong with the Jazz right now. DeAndre Ayton, 16 points and 16 boards.
Yeah.
Like, he's giving you performances. Rudy's not. Like, man. By the way, Golden State is off until Sunday when they play the Utah Jazz. So they're going to be well rested. And there's some folks who think that the Jazz should win that game.
No.
I don't feel good about that game. I don't feel good about that game at all. I really don't. And by the way, if Nikola Jokic didn't wrap up the MVP last night, he'll never win it again.
Yeah.
Because this Western Conference, I mean,
It's excellent. It's deep.
and I know it was only Indiana, and they clearly played down to their competition. But the Denver Nuggets scored 125 points, 37, 13, and 9 for Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
37 points on 19 shots for my guy, 15 and 19 for the dad bod god.
Yeah.
10 boards, 9 assists, 2 steals, a block.
That's quite enough. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. You're fine. He did have 7 turnovers.
Yeah. All
But
right.
my Lord. And by the way, Bones Highland is legit.
That's actually his name, by the way.
Yeah,
just so you know, Bones.
Bone.
For all the people out there who don't know who that is,
You should probably
his name is his literal first name is
figure it out.
Bones.
He's really good. 20 points, 7 dimes, 4 boards, a steal and a block. You know, who do you think
And
you
then-
are,
and then-
Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah, and then there's Bridges and Charlotte just windmilling on the Knicks last night. You know,
Yeah. How about though Miami beat up on Boston?
it's a great game. Great game.
Miami beat up on Boston last night. Like, I look at these games, like Luka Doncic, I hate you in your face, and I want to punch
Your
it.
mom's hot though.
I'd hit that.
Me?
But anyway, Dallas won again last night. He should get more run for MVP. I can't stand Luka at all. He should get more run for
Dude,
MVP.
they're showing the highlight of this Sacramento and Houston game.
Oh, it was awesome.
Dude, this is just like a dunk fest last night. Wild.
Yeah, it was. Sacramento isn't good, but they're fun to watch.
They are.
As is Houston. Houston's not good, but they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. All right. Can we, get you guys to give us a thumbs up right now on this
Do it.
video, please? It really helps the channel grow. Jake, you're still an idiot. LOL. Just kidding.
Thank you.
James 9.
He's just a hack.
Jazz by 20. King Ning says Don. Nikola Jokic. Fat!
Yeah.
He's not fat, actually. He's in really good shape.
Fat.
Talking with Raphael podcast. World Cup is around the corner. How about Team USA is actually going to be in? The U.S. men's national team won.
Uh-huh.
They're going to be in. Who knew? You said elite coach, but he has steadily declined and still doesn't make adjustments. Samon Lot says. Plays favorites and with his terrible rotations and the defense of his team has gotten worse. Quinn Snyder has had the same group of guys for 5 years.
Same question I'd pose to everybody. What adjustments do you want him to make when he's got the exact same guys he had?
I think it's very difficult.